Hey guys, I got asked on how you are supposed to adjust your key bindings and how to set that up. So I'm just gonna make a quick video to show you how. First thing first is obviously you need to be logged into the game. And then we are gonna go to our options menu, which you can do by either using the drop menu down here and go into system menu, or you can just hit O on your keyboard by default and then go to options and over to key mapping, and here you will see all the default settings. I have already changed some of mine, so you might want to go in and look at yours. It might look a little different than mine, but here you can go and you can change your key bindings for just about anything and everything you can imagine. I'll just give you a quick few tips that I've done personally, such as I have set a default button for select nearest PC. And what that is nearest enemy PC, that means enemy player control, which means when I hit my extra mouse button 2 on my mouse, it is going to select the nearest Elios, since I am Asmodean. I can run through right now and I can keep clicking it, and it's not going to select anything in this area because this is all for, mobs. They're not players, so it's not going to select them. This is very helpful during Siege, and all you need to do is you just click it in that area and hit whatever key you want to set to, and it will automatically set as that. So I can set as the N key, and then I can hit apply, and it would set so the N key would do that. And as you can see, there are 2 columns, so you can have multiple keys set to do the same function. Like I have extra mouse button 2, and let's say I'm playing and I decide extra mouse button 2 isn't very efficient for me, it's not working very well. I can then go and change that and move it so it's a different mouse button. So that's a very good one to make sure you're setting up for yourselves, especially if you PvP quite a bit. Another key function that a lot of people overlook and don't use much is select nearest corpse. Especially for those that are doing fort repeatables where you have to collect the item off of the corpses. It's very difficult sometimes when you're stacking those items up on the corpses and the corpses are piling on top of each other. Default should be F9, and you can go ahead and change that to another key too. On retail, I have it set to the comma button, so I can just hit the comma button as I'm running through on retail to select the nearest corpse, and that's very helpful as well. Brand target is another great one you guys should have set up, or at least learn how to start using. For selecting brand target, what this does is, let's say I was in a group and this Trico was marked 1, this one's marked 2, this one's marked 3, this one's marked 4. And let's say I'm on 1 and I'm the Sork, I'm supposed to be CCing, and they're like CC4. Instead of having to click over here or hit tab and pray to God it goes to it, I can hit control tab and it'll cycle through the brands in order. So if I'm on mark 1 and I hit control tab, it'll go to mark 2 and then mark 3 and then mark 4 each time I hit it. It cycles through in order. That's very helpful, especially in high tense PvE or PvP situations, so make sure you guys are using that as well. Select target. Target is a great one for let's say channers and clerics would probably use this the most, especially if they're doing a boss fight or they're out PvPing and they want to get a little damage in. Let's say they're healing their Templar, and this is my Templar I have selected right now, and my Templar is attacking the boss, and the boss is down to 10%. We just want to burn him real quick. We can hit this little symbol right here, whatever this is mapped to, and it will switch to the Templar's target, which would be the boss they targeted on. There's tons of other ways that you can use it as well. It's real helpful, so make sure you guys are looking at that keybind as well. Then of course the next is actions, whispers, trade, hide and show the UI. For those that don't know this, for Siege, hitting F12, well not F12, F12 will hide everything. It's shift F12 to hide other player controlled characters. That means you will still see their names that flow above their heads, but it won't render their characters unless you have them selected. So it makes their characters invisible. This greatly improves your performance during siege in high population areas, especially if you're running the game on an old potato. And it's less resources for your computer to use. It's easier on your graphics card, easier on your processor. Highly recommend trying that in Siege if you guys really struggle with FPS during Siege. Shift C is to take all from a body. That way you don't have to hover over and click the take all button or click on each item individually. SMs, you have your own section in here. You guys are so lucky. These are for your spirit control. You can bind these to whatever you want to make them attack or move or rest or release. It's really helpful. Definitely make sure you go through that. Select group members is a great one for clerics. You might want to go through here and set maybe to your numlock keys or something along that line. You can also do the same thing for alliance for cross healing. This gets a little more complicated. It's got to use a lot more keys. So I don't know many players that do it. I know a couple that have programmable keyboards where they can set extra buttons on their keyboard for combination macros, and that's what they do for using these. I'm not going to get into how to do that because my keyboard is not that advanced. So, and that would be a whole nother video going through that. Brands. This is one I always set up on all my characters, even if I am not playing a tank. I always have this set up on mine, and it is to quick mark your targets. So, for example, I have brand 1 to my numlock, my keypad for the number 1 key on it, and brand 2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4, 5 for 5, 6 for 6, etc. and so forth. So if I am the leader of a group, I can tab through and I can just, as I'm tabbing, my other hand is over my number keys and I'm able to quickly mark brands, which makes it very more efficient and quick for the group. It really helps them out if you can mark quickly like that. Then we have select brands. I changed my F keys. I don't remember what they were on default, but I do this on almost all my tunes to quickly select through targets. So this goes hand in hand with this one. So I can mark the targets easy, 1 through 8 basically. Well, 1 through the no hit sign. And then over here, if I'm playing, my hand's not leaving my mouse, and on my left hand, I'm able to quickly use my F keys to tab through those targets. This is just kind of like control tab where it cycles through, only this one specifically goes to one. So as a Sorc, I'm always going to F4, which I have set to the ZZ mark. So if there's a mob that has a ZZ mark to crowd control it, CC it, I can easily hit F4 in combat and then hit F1 to get back to our primary target and keep DPSing. It's real helpful to set these up. I highly recommend it. And then there's some more stuff to bring up windows. This might be good for you guys to look up, especially if you're leading siege. It's good to know how to quickly access your league info without having to go through the drop menu by simply just hitting Shift and L to bring up your league. Same with Alliance. You guys should know by now how to bring up your Legion tabs. The Help Support tab is very helpful. I highly recommend, if you haven't already done this, go through and look through all of this. There is some pretty helpful tips that aren't common knowledge hidden within each one of these sections. Same with the commands. There's a lot of great information in here, so make sure you guys kind of glance through that. And then of course there are other options as well that you can look through. There's even a hotkey to bring up our Deva Pass, so you can see how you are progressing on that. And then there's more default quick bars. These would be your skill bars. So obviously the bottom one is your quick bar 1, second one is quick bar 2, quick bar 3, and the rest you have to enable through another option. And you can change what the keys are. So let's say I want to use delayed pass, which is control 2. Let's say that is hard for me to reach with my fingers. I can go in here and set that as a secondary hotkey for something else that's easier for my fingers to reach. Like I can set it to Shift F or something like that. It's just real helpful. It's real easy to do. You have to play around, kind of see what works for you guys, how easily your fingers can reach different keys, or how your hands contort in different ways. No player is alike. I personally don't judge because I still click to play a lot of my skills, but I do have a lot of things hotkeyed to my mouse and to my keyboard as well. So I'm kind of a hybrid player. But that's all I really have for you guys. I hope this video was informative and helped you. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And as always, I hope to see you guys in game.